pretty good.
about this in sociology. Negative
Oh,
consequentialism, the other way around, it focuses on minimizing the bad consequence rather than promoting good consequences,
hey,
right? So will you be able to like reproduce these things in one or two words afterwards, not now? So in
it's
logical
pretty good.
like this in sociology, for all negative
Oh,
consequentialism, the other way around, that will suffice. They have not
सर
asked
इसको
and they
बोर्ड
won't
को
be
एक बार
asking.
देखिए.
But utilitarianism, they will be asking. Consequentialism, utilitarianism. So this was given by Jeremy Bentham, one of the most important name. So Bentham. So Bentham gave utilitarianism. He was an English moral philosopher, legal reformer, founder of the doctrine of utilitarianism. So many spoke of utilitarianism, but he gave the concrete form and also in the modern way, in a sophisticated.
सर ये बोर्ड एक बार देखिए, नहीं आ रहा है. ये राइटिंग मोड पे है क्या? ओके, अब डाले आ जाएगा. ये आ जाए, आ गया था. Good evening, officers. Are we ready? Are we good to go? Okay. So to begin with, how many of you have done the assignments I gave yesterday? Okay, not a problem, but you should be doing, because what I asked is just one line, two line, or three line. That's it. Because in UPSC, the questions are very difficult. Say, for example, like today we'll be discussing attitude. It's like if you go through all the concepts also, you won't be in a position to answer even a single UPSC questions. Jitne diye na, like all the concepts also, you won't be able to understand those things. Okay. Okay. So today I will discuss about the first question, and the second, like I'll be discussing day after tomorrow or tomorrow, because you have not written. So what I request is don't write. आपको 100 words लिखने का जरूरत नहीं है, because that is one of the biggest mistake we do. Just write two lines. Two lines तो लिख सकते हैं ना? So that will be good. Human beings should not always be treated as ends in themselves and never merely as means. Explain the meaning and significance of this statement, giving its implications in modern techno-economic society. Right? Now we'll zero down to something which you have not concentrated. Yesterday, like I was explaining some question, like it was halfway done. I will explain that also. What is the meaning of techno-economic society? This is very important, because in most of the questions they are asking like this: in modern techno-economic society. Very nice. Then, okay, then what about the economic aspect? Techno-economic society. So here it's simple. Now the society is driven by technology. टेक्नोलॉजी का सिवा कुछ नहीं होता. कैन लाइव क्लासेस बी देयर विदाउट टेक्नोलॉजी? मैं इधर बात कर रहा हूँ, वो इधर रिकॉर्ड हो रहा है, एंड इट इज सेंड टू सैटेलाइट. सैटेलाइट से आपका मोबाइल, ये सब. राइट? व्हाट अबाउट दिस economic society? So what do you understand by economy? Very good. Like production, consumption. Now we are more into production oriented society. And in economy, the major thing is profit. So the meaning of this term is techno-economic society means the society is majorly run now or dependent on technology and also the profit motive, which is in line with the production, consumption, all these things. Clear? So this is one thing which you have to keep in mind. Human beings should always be treated as ends and never has means. इसका मतलब क्या है? Humanity. Okay. Very good. Okay. Very good. So that's correct. Like, can you elaborate by taking the next section with respect to techno-economic society? So here the question what it is asking is, in our techno-economic society, we are treating people as means. We are not treating people as autonomous beings. We are not respecting people. So a question in line with that. Kant says that humanity, when I say people, it means humanity. People should be respected. Why? Why people should be respected? Very good. So before that, can add one more. People have dignity. So why we should respect? They have dignity. Why they have dignity? They're autonomous and rational beings. Is the point clear? ये three words आपको नहीं बोलना है. So you have to respect humanity. Why respecting humanity or people? They have got dignity. Why dignity? Rational and autonomous. So did you get some idea as to how you have to write this answer? Let me elaborate these things. Okay. This statement is rooted in Kant's ethical philosophy. When Kant says that we should not treat people merely as means, he's saying that we should not treat people, that is humanity, as an instrument. Instrument means once again. We should not use, we should not exploit or manipulate people. So that is what happening in our techno-economic society. When Kant says that we should treat people as ends in themselves, Kant is saying that we should respect people, that is respecting humanity. We should, for example, allow them to make up their own minds about what to do, as opposite to trying to make their choices for themselves. An important idea of Kantian ethics is the emphasis on the duty of respecting humans as moral beings. We should respect humanity. We should respect people because they have dignity. People have dignity because they are rational beings and autonomous beings. We are rational beings and also autonomous beings because we are capable of reason. We are autonomous beings because we are capable of acting and choosing freely according to law we give ourselves. We do something for its own sake as an end in itself. By this, we cease to be instruments of the purpose given outside us. This capacity to act rationally and autonomously is what gives human life its special dignity. Respecting human dignity means treating persons as ends in themselves. So आपका आंसर ऐसा लिखना है. Treating people as ends means treating humanity as an end. Means respecting humanity, right? So the same thing like the dictionary meaning modern techno-economic society. Modern techno-economic society refers to the modern society or social structure heavily influenced and shaped by technology and economics. It's is characterized by integration of advanced technology and profit motive into various aspects of life, production, consumption, profoundly impacting the economic, social, and the culture fabric of the society. So इसमें like you have to take with respect to technology क्या हो रहा है? Automation. With respect to technology, what is happening? Data collection. So here they are collecting data and they are using people's data as a means. So all the repercussions you have to write. Okay. So these are the things. So yesterday, like I was explaining, like online people were not able to listen to those things. So this is the explanation of categorical imperative. So let me ask you, what do you understand by categorical imperative? Yes, without any exception. So it's a kind of reasoning. So categorical imperative का मतलब क्या है? One of the thing is reason. Say for example, I want to get IAS or anything like that. It may not be that appropriate. There is a, like, I want to do something. So if we put the reason, and if that can be applied to all, and if doesn't use humans as means, then that is said to be categorical imperative. Means, according to Kant, there is only one way of doing anything. Because that reason is not based on your reason or my reason. So what is your duty? Your duty is just to follow that categorical imperative. So deontology का मतलब क्या है? Duty. So what is your duty? To follow the categorical imperative. Why following the categorical imperative? It is based on pure practical reason. Is the point clear to you? Deontology, deon means duty. What is your duty? Follow the categorical imperative, right? So for all those things like freedom, morality, all these things, you have to write the same things here. Okay. Categorical imperative, a practical law that by itself commands absolutely and without any further motive. So there is no further motive. This is the end itself. इसका पीछे कुछ motive नहीं है, right? And the idea of a law that binds us as rational beings regardless of our particular ends, right? Rational being, in bracket you can write reason, reason, based on reason. Is this clear? So this should be the one. This is the one given by Kant himself. That is the reason I have quoted. Okay. So these are the two things which has to be satisfied, and they are not different. So at the end, both mean the same. Okay. Just concentrate. Like you may be thinking like, can we have different categorical imperatives? No. Please read the questions. If autonomy means acting according to the law I give myself, what guarantee that everyone will choose the same moral law? Isn't it? We're all autonomous beings. So up, like you are like given freedom to do whatever you want. Then how can you say that you will be having the only same law? Next, in the same line, if categorical imperative is the product of my will, isn't it likely that different people will come up with different categorical imperative? What is the answer for this? Okay, I'll explain. How can we be sure that different people won't reason differently and arrive at various moral laws? So here, like what you are not getting, I feel is you are thinking that when I say my will, my reason, it is not my reason. Humanity, not only that, the reasoning is not attached to anything. Say, for example, in utilitarianism, happiness, how is happiness defined? Based on the pain and pleasure you get. So it is not attached to anything. So that is the reason, in fact, the very first line of your syllabus says ethics and human interference. Kant says that there is something which should be based only on reason. So since it is based on reason, it is not dependent on you. It is outside you. So ethics stays at a place outside you, at a distance from you. So that is the reason the chapter is named Ethics and Human Interference. So the answer is, when we will the moral law, we don't choose as you and me. I repeat, when we will the categorical imperative, the moral law. What is the moral law? Categorical imperative. So moral law, categorical imperative means the same. So there is a moral law. So what you should be doing? Follow that. That is your duty. When we will a moral law, we don't choose as you and me, but as rational beings, as participants in what Kant calls pure practical reason. So it's a mistake to think that the moral law is up to us as individuals. This means that everyone who exercises pure practical reason will reach to the same conclusion, will arrive at single categorical imperative. समझ में आया या कंफ्यूज हो गए? सो हियर ही सेइंग दैट लाइक आपका और मेरा कुछ नहीं है इधर. इट इज नॉट माई लॉ. इट इज ए लॉ बेस्ड ऑन रीजन ट्रूथ, राइट? लॉजिक, आपका लॉजिक मेरा लॉजिक, like is it dependent on ourselves? No. So that is the one. Okay. So for tomorrow you should be doing this, very important. As I already told you, it's, you can take this as a secret. In 2022, 1 year before UPSC changed the syllabus, it has given 6 questions. These questions, in my opinion, repeated minimum 40 times in one or the other way. I can show you with respect to case studies. Even they have not changed the name, Mr. X, Mrs. Y. ऐसे ही दिए हैं. So these 2 case studies I have dealt in my orientation session also. I just asked. So you should be answering 2 case studies. One respect to like your friend copying, another Mr. X and Y. Yeah, something like that. Those 2 you should answer. So here what I expect is, don't write stories. Not feasible, not desirable, and you shouldn't be doing now. It's not the time. Now you just give the answer. Demand of the question क्या है, वो लिखो, right? So now today, like I'll be starting with attitude, in fact, ethics and human interference. In that, the topics which are given are very, very vague. If I explain those things, like you won't be getting the conceptual clarity. Essence, determinants, and consequences of ethics. So what is the essence of ethics? In most of the books, they have interpreted on their own, the person who is writing. And after that, you have got inculcation of values, and the values which you have learned from society, institution, all these things. These are very like easy, common sense also. So I'll take up all those things, but very pertinent one, important one is attitude. We'll try how best we can go with this one. Okay. What is attitude? What is attitude? Decent manner. Okay. We can say it comes like conduct, virtue, ऐसा आ जाएगा. Our response. Then behavior. Okay. Let me explain these things. Attitude, content. Attitude का अंदर क्या रहता है? Structure. So where is attitude? Attitude किधर रहता है? Mind. So अंदर, आपका अंदर, the elements of attitude कैसे arrange हुआ है? That is structure, right? The functions performed by the attitude क्या है? So these are very, very important and fundamental for your further understanding. After that, you have got attitude, its influence and relation with thought and behavior. Then social influence and persuasion, very practical things. Then you have got moral and political attitude. So if you take the whole syllabus, not even a single question has come directly. Okay. So online people are in fact way ahead than offline people. Okay. Psychological tendency by evaluating some. So with respect to online people, one thing I astonish is, are they using using internet or not? I am not aware, because they will be giving exact answers. So आपका ऐसा रहता है like cut and paste करो हो जाएगा. And also they write long answers also. Okay, good. So we'll do one thing, like after the session is over, I'll take up online questions. So like if you like, you can take some 5-10 minutes break. Afterwards, I'll take your questions because online people are very angry because I am not interacting with them. There are many favorite students of mine. हम ऑफलाइन आ गए इसका मतलब नहीं है कि हम उनको छोड़ दिए. So I'll take up after the session. So online people, if you have got any query or question, please write them down. I'll be there for 10-15 minutes. Afterwards, I'll take offline students' questions. Right? So very important conceptually, this is the one thing which is most misunderstood. So always you might have said attitude is everything, but nobody knows what is attitude. So now previous year questions. So there are many previous year questions. Like if you go through these things, you will understand that none of the questions you can answer if you like even read all the things. So you go through all these questions. These have been sorted and pertinent to this question. So like some 7-8 questions are there. What is attitude? So I feel sad when somebody beats. I feel angry when somebody does something. Is your attitude? I actively participated in some ceremony, something, tree planting. I actively participated in teaching. Can we call this as attitude? In my opinion, Ambedkar is a great leader, but others won't agree. Is this your attitude? Is my attitude nearly, which comes very near to attitude, or which is the attitude? So, like, if you say like one of these things, all of you are wrong. None of this is the attitude. ऐसा रहे तो उनको attitude क्यों बोलते थे? Why they would have kept one name as attitude? The first one, feel. What is that? So it is your emotions or feelings. Can we call your emotions as attitude? The second one, I actively participated. It's your behavior or behavior tendency. आपका behavior को attitude कैसे बोल सकते हैं हम? Right? The next one is, in my opinion, this is about thought, cognition, knowledge. Can we call cognition as attitude? So that should be the basic fundamental thing which you have to understand. But the most important thing is, ये सबको आप like you can think मिक्सी में डाल दीजिए, ग्राइंड कीजिए, something emerges, that is attitude. So it is not equal to any of these things and also individual things. इनसे कुछ emerge होता है based on your feelings, based on your cognition, all these things, some mental predispositions are formed in your head. That is attitude. Let me elaborate these things. Let me go in depth. Can we equate opinion, thought to attitude? Can we equate all our opinions, thought to be attitude? Take one example. Here, the most important thing you have to consider in this regard is how important are those things for you. In my opinion, I think that Modi ji is the strongest leader India has ever seen. So when I say like this, case one, it does not matter much to you that others agree or disagree with your views. Here, there may be many people who may disagree, right? So if you disagree, it doesn't matter for me. That is one case. On the other case, when I say Modi ji is the great leader or Ambedkar is the great leader, if somebody disputes me, I'll become angry. Are you getting me? In first case, just it's my opinion. In second case, when you oppose that, with respect to that opinion, with respect, in addition to that cognition, there is also a feeling. There is also a behavior. Clear? So if someone like आपका घर वालों को गाली दिए तो आप चुप रहते हैं, इसमें जस्ट कॉग्निशन रहता है क्या? फीलिंग्स भी रहता है, बिहेवियर भी रहता है, and you have got a tendency, mental tendency, that is attitude. So in this case, your views are merely opinions and thought. Is this slide clear to you? Next, if someone opposes or challenges your views about these topics, you get emotional and you have made these views as a part of your behavior. So your views are not merely opinions or thought, but also have emotional content, action component, and then these views are more than opinions, they are your attitudes. So now, religion. Is religion a belief or attitude? आपका रिलीजन्स को कोई क्रिटिसाइज किए तो आपको इमोशन नहीं आता, बिहेवियर नहीं आता. So in fact religion is attitude because it has all the components. Definitely that is there, that may be major part, but religion is an attitude what you have to the supernatural. Okay, attitude is summary evaluations. Just listen to me. Attitudes are summary evaluations that have thought, emotion, and behavior associated with the attitudinal object. ये सब मिलके आप जो evaluate करते हैं उसको attitude बोलते हैं. Is the point clear to you? Here there are two things which you have to concentrate. One is these are evaluations, means you will have attitude only when you evaluate the thing. So इसमें ये सब रहना है, right? So another, attitudes are summary evaluations that have affective behavior and cognitive components. Easy to remember, ABC components associated with an object, right? Yet another one of the like most influential one given by Egli and Chaikin defined attitude as psychological tendency. So mental tendency that is expressed by evaluating. Just stop here. Psychological tendency that is expressed by evaluating. So वो psychological tendency जो है, how it is expressed based on evaluation of a particular entity with some degree of favor or disfavor. Clear? So one more word you can add is they are mental predispositions. Let me elaborate. So here I'll be giving like some 3-4 definition, all these things. One most important thing, आपको मेंस में सक्सेस होना है तो सबका एक डेफिनेशन रहना है. Say for example, you all know what is capitalism, but do you have a definition? You should be having anything. Here there may be many engineers. Do you have one definition of engineer ready for in you? रहना है वो. We are all human beings. So who are human beings? एक definition ready रहना है. So how can that possible? When you make short notes. Okay. So you have to create a definition and you have to stick to that for all the things with respect to ethics or any part of the mains. Okay. Attitude refers to evaluation of people's, groups, or other types of objects in our social world. So attitude is an overall evaluation of an object. Then, very important, attitude involves making decisions. Attitude involves making decisions concerning liking or disliking, approving, disapproving, favoring or disfavoring a particular issue, object, or a person. Right? There is evaluation. Means when you evaluate, in other words, we can say you are making a decision. So in decision it may be liking, approving, favoring. Can anything be the object of an attitude? Can we have attitude on anything? ये बोर्ड है, इस बोर्ड के ऊपर आप एटीट्यूड हो सकता है आपका? हाउ? प्लीज, like how can you have attitude on board? How? 7 means 7. Okay. So I know numbers, but I don't know exactly कौन सा है. एक दो तीन चार पाँच छः सात आठ नौ दस ग्यारह बारह तेरह आई नो but I don't know which is the one. So how? What made you say that we can have attitude on board on this marker? One thing is the most important thing which we underline, evaluation. आप एक चीज को evaluate किए तो attitude होता है. If you are not evaluating, no attitude. Is the point clear? Any stimulus that can be evaluated will be having attitude. Along the dimensions of favorability can be conceptualized as an attitudinal object, or you can have attitude on that one. Clear? So the most important thing is evaluation or decision making. Here favorable, liking, dislike, कुछ भी हो सकता है. So object of an attitude, you can have attitude on a concept like liberalism, capitalism, democracy, concrete objects like computer, pen. You can have you on your own self-esteem, on other individuals, particular politicians, social policies like capital punishment, and also social groups, people of India, people of America, you can have. Content of attitude. What is an attitude made up of? Yes. So very simple. What do you understand by content of attitude means? What an attitude is made up of. So attitude is made up of? Yes, that's it. So there is a very famous and most accepted model that is known as multi-component model of attitude. Very easy to remember. Don't bother about all these things. So multi, many, component. It simply says that attitude has many components. So many component model of attitude. A model of attitude that conceptualizes attitude has summary evaluations that have ABC components associated with an object is said to be multi-component model. So what are the components? ABC. So this is one diagram which you should be writing. Don't like arrow mark को भी इसी direction में करना है आप. So CAB and attitude. Okay. So once again, discussing the same things again in a very systematic way. And this slide is all encompassing one with respect to this component. The affect means feeling or emotions associated with an attitudinal object. So you can just write affective means feeling and emotions. Behavioral means tendency to act or past behaviors. So here in some of the books, they have not added this. The tendency to act, they have not made. So to be precise, you can take only past behaviors. So tendency to act becomes once again attitude itself. So like past behaviors with respect to attitudinal object. Cognition means beliefs, thoughts with respect to attitudinal object. So just write A, B, C and the things which I have highlighted in red. Feelings, emotions, past behaviors, belief, thought, knowledge, everything with respect to cognition. That's it. So ABC model is also called as CAB model. क्या है ये? So why? So here some feel that पहला cognition आता है, उसका बाद affect, उसका बाद behavior. Say for example, we'll take our Sambhavam itself. So you came to know that Sambhavam IAS is teaching well, cognition. So you developed some feeling, affect. You joined Sambhavam, behavior. But it is not the case always. Cognition ही आता है, उसका बाद affect behavior. In majority of the cases, it's there, but they are independent. That is one thing which you have to keep in mind. So very famous example given in your NCRT to explain all the ABC components. Suppose a group of people in your neighborhood started tree planting campaign as a part of Green India movement. Based on sufficient information about the environment, your views. So what is your view? View बोले तो क्या है ABC में? C. So your C towards green environment is positive, right? You feel very happy when you see greenery. So feel, which component? Affect. You feel sad and angry when you see trees being cut down. You always actively participated in tree plantation. What is this? Behavior. So here we cannot guess one or the other. Say for example, you are aware that planting trees is very good. ये बात सबको पता है, I feel. So how many of you have planted trees? Okay. Oh, very high number. Generally, almost no. Okay. Say for example here, we all believe in God, right? So how many of you are going to temple daily? Not daily. Okay. So why you are not going? So here why I asked is, your cognition and behavior may not be same, right? So here one more example, kidney donation or organ donation. Is it good or bad? So how many have signed that after your death, your parts will be taken? So why you have not done? So to say that these are different. So we'll discuss those things afterwards. So coming back to the slide, your view towards green environment is positive. That is cognition. You feel very happy when you see greenery. That is affective. You actively participated. That is behavior. So we cannot predict one component on the basis of other. There are high probabilities, high chances in some cases, but not always. So it is quite possible that cognitive aspect of Green India attitude is very strong, but affective and behavioral components may be relatively weak. And also other way, C and A positive, but B component may be neutral. Okay. Attitudes are also said to be mental predispositions. Just think, in this predisposition means inclination in advance. So mental predispositions बोले तो those things which you get, which already are present, आप ट्रायल एंड एरर मेथड किए, उससे जो आता है उसको मेंटल प्रीडिस्पोजिशन नहीं बोलते. I went and spoke to you. Afterwards, I came to know that you are a good boy. That is not mental predisposition. So I have got some, say for example, people from Himachal Pradesh, they are very good. That is mental predisposition. Clear? Okay. So this is just a meaning of those things. Okay. When you see a village boy or girl, so just imagine to make the concept clear to you. पूरा village attire में आया है, A to Z. Think of South Indian with lungi, all these things he has come. Or traditional dress with respect to girls also. So उनका ऊपर आपका कुछ mental predisposition रहेगा या नहीं? That is attitude. So इसमें आप not like old in the movies, all farmers, all people who live in village are very good, all people who are rich are very bad. ऐसा नहीं है. So just same thing. When you see a very rich girl or a rich boy, so along with very rich and also very beautiful or handsome, देखिए आपका क्लास को बेंस कार में कोई आ रहा है. Oh, like when they come here itself, almost they'll be having like good fragrance. Oh, perfume, ये perfume डाल के आते हैं. So you'll be having some mental picture. So that is attitude. Similarly, with respect to when you see a priest, sadhu, or a gunda, So Gunda element, say for example, with respect to students also, there is a student like who always keeps the books with them. 10 minutes time मिला तो पढ़ता रहता है. And there is another person who is always on road. So you have got attitude on them. So similarly, an African tourist, attitude रहता है, different attitude. Then an European tourist, different. So these are said to be attitudes. So did you get the concept of attitude? So इसमें like I have taken from various sources, very authentic sources. Since it is social science, some may say it is mental predisposition. Some may say that it is summary evaluation. So all some of the other, they mean the same, nearly same. Okay. So attitudes are mental predispositions, psychological tendencies, summary evaluations that have affective, behavioral and cognitive components. So इन सबको मिला के आप एक definition लिख सकते हैं, or you should have these points. So when you break the definition into points, it's very easy for you to remember. So is it easy for you to remember? So इसलिए आप definition को भी points में लिखिए, any definition, right? So features of attitude. So this is in addition to ABC components. So in addition to ABC components, those are related to content. So features क्या है? Here, very simple one, properties or features, valence. So we discussed that attitudes evaluate. So evaluation करने के बाद क्या रहता है? It may be positive or negative. So positive and negative, this is indicated by valence. Extremeness बोले तो highly positive, highly negative, extremes. Simplicity and complexity. Here it simply means that there is one like a big attitude. Within that, you have got many attitude. I'll explain this. So here you should have group of attitude, the concept. Say for example, there is one attitude, उसका अंदर 5 attitudes है. उसमें कौन सा strong है? Or the attitude which influence others is said to be central. Let me explain these things. Valence of an attitude tells about whether an attitude is positive or negative or neutral towards the attitudinal object, right? Okay. Suppose an attitude has to be expressed in on the 5-point scale. So you may be rating Uber or even books. So 5 stars. So here the first one, negative. 1 or 2 means negative. 1 is very bad, 2 is bad. So if you are rating some 4 and 5, it's good, very good. If you are saying 3, neutral. Is the concept clear? Very simple, valence. So इसमें extremeness, how positive or negative an attitude is. How positive? Is it too positive or little positive? So in this, which are the most extreme ones? Which is the least extreme? 3, that's it. So that is about extreme. The same things. Simplicity, complexity. Think of attitude as a family consisting of several member attitude. So I'll explain this with example. Think of attitude as a family consisting of several member attitude. That is the key to understand this. How many attitudes are there defines whether it's simple or complex. 1 or 2 rahe to simple, if more than that, complex. An attitude system is said to be simple if it contains one or few attitudes. The attitude towards a particular person is likely to consist of mainly one attitude. So say for example, Modi. So Modi ji के ऊपर like only one attitude रहता है. That is positive or negative. दोनों रहता है क्या? Say for example, Virat Kohli. So just a tweet or a Instagram post of Virat Kohli costs 3 crores. So many followers. So here, this is with respect to persons. These are simple attitude. When it comes to complex attitude, attitude system is said to be complex if it is made up of many attitude. Think of attitude as a family consisting of several member attitudes. Attitude towards health and well-being, attitude towards world peace. Let me explain this. Say for example, attitude towards health and well-being. It has got several member attitudes such as health, mental health, happiness, well-being. Clear? So here very important, health and well-being is also an attitude. These are also attitude. Is the point clear to you? ये like बड़ा attitude है, उसका अंदर ये भी आते हैं. Say for example for youth, इसमें कौन सा important है? Which influences the most? So youth क्या करते हैं? जिम को जाते हैं या मेडिटेशन कैंप को जाते हैं? जिम. So for them central attitude health. Say बूढ़े लोग, हमारे जैसे बूढ़े लोग जिम जाते हैं या मेंटल yogasana, prayer. So for us, this is the central attitude. That is centrality. This should not be confused with ABCD. Right? इसमें है like this one. This is a attitude. इसमें भी ABCD है. इसमें भी ABC, not D. Okay. Okay. Each member attitude that belongs to an attitudinal system also has ABC components. So in this, the same example. So this health and well-being also has ABC. This also has ABC. Is the point clear? Or एक बार like after you go home, read once again, the things will be concrete because in the very first instance, you cannot master these concepts. Centrality, the role of a particular attitude. It refers to the role of a particular attitude in the attitudinal system. An attitude with greater centrality would influence the other attitudes in the system much more than the non-central or the peripheral attitudes would. So here, youth's central attitude is physic, for aged or elderly, mental. Okay. So these are the features or properties. Clear? So these are very simple, pretty clearly they have made. इसमें research मत करो, कोई questions नहीं आया, but for understanding you should be having the idea. Okay. Structure of attitude. So what do you understand by structure? Yes, in general, what does structure means? Composition of what? So components. So say when we say a person is having good physique, means like he is having good structure. So we say that structure means arrangement of the components. So attitude में components क्या क्या है? Right? So उसमें evaluations negative. So that is the one. Refers to how positive and negative evaluations are organized. Very important. Structure of an attitude refers to how positive and negative evaluations are organized within and among ABC components of the attitude. So please read again. In simple words, how negative positive evaluations are arranged. That is the meaning. So here there are two perspectives, one dimensional perspective and two dimensional. So just concentrate on the first one dimensional. First one. So here this is the neutral point. So highly negative, highly positive. This is one dimension. So just don't concentrate on the picture. Here you have to arrange two things. What are they? Negative and positive evaluations. So here I will ask you to locate the things. So आपको क्या होगा, like what you will be doing then? You will be locating here or here. So इससे क्या हुआ? When you locate in negative domain, you cannot locate in positive. Presence of negative inhibits the presence of positive. Clear? So with respect to two dimension, it is not like that. Say for example, if we take this point y, so negative itna hai, so positive itna hai. So if I locate a point here, negative will be less and more positive. Clear? So इसमें वो नहीं है. That is one thing. The other thing is with respect to this point. Here it is not telling anything about like equally positive, equally negative भी हो सकता है क्या? हो सकता है ना? So इसमें पता नहीं चलेगा. But if you take a point here, equal distance from both, then we can say that it is having equal positive and negative. Right? So the same things here. One dimensional perspective, the existence of positive feelings, beliefs, behaviors inhibits the occurrence of negative feelings, behaviors, beliefs. Positive and negative elements has stored along the single dimension. So since they are on the single dimension, presence of one inhibits the other. Positive inhibits the occurrence of negative. Negative inhibits the occurrence of positive. So this is the one. Two-dimensional perspective perceives positive and negative elements as stored along the two separate dimensions. So here the word stored among two separate dimensions is the key, because in the previous one only one dimension. People can choose any combination of positive and negative in their attitudes. So this is the one. Which perspective is superior? So in fact, when we take the ease with which we can do one dimension, because that is easy. In other respect, two dimensional is superior. One dimensional most widely used perspective because it is comparatively simple. But coming to the two dimensional one, neutral point, distinguishing between no interest and equal likes and dislikes. Clear? So in two dimension, we can distinguish these two, no interest and equal likes and dislikes. The extent of likes and dislikes can also be distinguished. Ambivalent attitude, an individual both likes and dislikes an attitudinal object. So in the one dimensional, that is not possible. Is it possible in two dimensional? Say for example, here, if I locate something here, so here you can have both negative and positive. So ambivalent means both, you are having both. That is ambivalent. Response polarization, people who are highly ambivalent means both who have both likes and dislikes towards an object are more strongly influenced by the features of their environment. So here there will be some people who will be like vegetarians or drinking alcohol based on the environment. So these kind of things can be guessed here. Functions of attitude. So functions means what are the roles performed by attitude. So what are the functions? What are the roles performed? Now you have to think. So online people, very good. Problem solving. So here there is an element of evaluation. So evaluation में क्या क्या करते हैं आप? So you know the positive and negative of an element. So when you know all these things, you have already made an evaluation. So your decision making becomes easy, simple. So attitude helps in decision making. Not only that, say for example, so definitely like say for example, we tend to sit beside some people. Why? We have certain attitude. Class may be like we prefer some places. Why? This is based on attitude. So let me explain these things. The needs fulfilled by an attitude is said to be function of an attitude. देखिए short notes में क्या लिखना है? These are the things which you should be writing. Functions of attitude. Needs fulfilled by attitude. Functions of attitude. Needs fulfilled. इतना ही लिखना है. So the line goes like this: the psychological need fulfilled by by an attitude. Needs fulfilled, psychological needs means you can use them. So first number one, classify objects. So what the attitudes do? They classify objects in the environment for the purpose of action. So just you should be noting classifying the objects. Next, all attitudes simplify decision making. Attitudes are energy saving devices because attitudes make judgments faster and easier to perform. Because already evaluation हो चुका है. So it becomes, these are energy saving devices. So simplify decision, energy saving, and classify objects. So models of attitude functions, here they have two. One is by Smith and another is by Cates. So there is no need for you to remember all the names. You can use et al, Smith and Cates. They almost the functions propounded by these two are same. By Smith, number one, object appraisal. So employee appraisal. So what is there in employee appraisal? At the year end, employee appraisal रहता है ना? So like that, object appraisal, like that positive and negative क्या है एक जो object का, attitude does that, right? So like going back to our same example, when a very rich or very rich boy or girl comes to your class, you have got certain ways of approaching, isn't it? Evaluations. So that is based on this, but they may be entirely different, right? Say for example, there is a 6 feet person. You feel that he is very strong, very brave. और हमारा मूवी में एक बार दिखाए, they also show when he opens his mouth, he like speaks like meow, something like that. Very like I'm not getting that word. Aisa, his voice will be like unimaginably different. So object appraisal summarizes positive and negative attitudes of the objects. Clear? So it is about object appraisal. Then social adjustment. The same in line with object is social. So here society is also been appraised, but for adjustment, we identify with the people we like. The example, classical example given is soft drinks. So if you go to South India, especially Thumbs Up, oh, that brand became very famous because of some of the film stars. In North also. So Thumbs Up कौन ज्यादा पी रहा है फिल्म इंडस्ट्री में? सलमान खान. All सलमान खान fans भाई के नाम पे एक एक मारो. So we associate people we like soft drinks and disassociate people we don't like. That is social adjustment. Next is externalization. Defend the self against internal conflict. Say for example, like think that I think that I want to play cricket. रोज जाता हूँ, रोज बोल्ड होके आ जाता हूँ. So what should I like defend myself? अरे मुझे क्रिकेट नहीं आता खेलने के लिए, आई एम वेरी पुअर. ऐसा हुआ तो होता है क्या? टेक द अदर वे. क्रिकेट इज ए सिली गेम. क्या है? एक फेंकता है, एक देता है, समथिंग लाइक दैट. So it's not worth playing. So I left playing cricket. So have you heard of like a fox and sour grapes? So fox tries afterwards, says these grapes are very sour, not worth eating. Chalo. So this is externalization, also known as ego defense. So this is the one. Say for example, मुझे IAS नहीं आया. मेरा सब like almost all my batchmates are commissioners of police and things like that. उनको देख के मैं if I feel very bad, so can I survive in the society or can I be happy? So I have to take the other way. Okay. Same here, kids. Here also knowledge, organizing information, knowledge function, organize the information, utilitarianism, maximize reward and minimize the punishment. Next, ego defense, protect self-esteem. The same one, the third one. And the last one, value expression. So your attitudes also express the self concept and the central values. Say for example, there is a person who is very rich, but he comes to office in bicycle. So don't you think he is expressing his attitude? He is expressing his values? So Gandhiji, Gandhiji don't think that by seeing Gandhiji in the dhoti, all these things, many think that he is very poor. No, he was one of the richest person then. He went to England to study. He was very rich. But by adopting those dresses, he expressed something. So value expression function. So these are the things. So if we look into the similarities between the two, so here social adjustment is one thing which will be different. Other than that, same colors. Object appraisal, knowledge and utility function, externalization, ego defense, same, right? So, so what I request to you all is, if you are writing like 2024 exam, spend at least 20 minutes just for the things which you have already spent. 25 के लिए आप पढ़ रहे तो please make this a point that your ethics, your essay, your interview should have basis in this course. So everything what I have gathered is like very authentic material, and also I have I'm providing the previous year questions also there. So this is the slide where all the things are put in one place. Okay. Okay. Attitude learning attitude formation, in that learning of attitude and factors that influence attitude change. Can attitude be changed? How? With experience. Is there any attitude which you have changed in recent past? So the motto of civil service, I didn't hear. That can we change in attitude? Okay. The motto of civil service is catch them young. The main reason is, as we grow, our personality, our beliefs, our attitude get concrete. So one of the reason why, like you find most of failures in marriages, or you can say divorces, the reason is, now the average age in India or some anywhere around the world is around 25 to 30. By the time they are all well matured, well stabilized personalities. Here it is not that one is bad and another is good. In my opinion, all humans are good. But the only thing which you should be looking is compatibility. आपको compatible है या नहीं? So that is the thing. Why, like in connection with marriage, since your attitude, your behavior, everything is already fixed, it is not easy to mold. So, but say for example, if you take old ages, child marriage, so कुछ भी पता नहीं रहता, whatever they say, they somehow follow those things. Okay. So learning the attitude. How do attitudes learn? Society is 100%. How? By repetitive action. Okay, then by knowledge. Very good. Then experiences. So the same things here they have put. So attitude formation, we have to focus on the conditions which leads to the learning of an attitude. Why? We have to focus on the conditions which leads to the learning of attitude. Attitude towards different topics, things, persons also are formed as we interact with others. So this is the reason we have to concentrate on the conditions. So very important, very few studies, very few research studies that show some sort of inborn aspect of attitude, right? Very, very important. Not all, very very few show some sort of inborn aspects of attitude. Okay. Characters don't affect the formation of attitude, but they affect indirectly in the learning process. So this you can take as the relation between aptitude and attitude. So aptitude is inborn. That is with respect to how you learn the things. Okay. Therefore, most social psychologists have focused on the conditions which lead to learning attitude. So they never consider things related to hereditary. Is this clear or confused? Okay. So learning attitudes by association. So it's like, say, for example, a teacher is teaching very good. So the subject the teacher teaches also becomes interesting for you. So that is learning attitudes by associating. So आपको किसी में attitude, like if you have to bring some attitude, क्या करना है? Association. So we'll deal with that. Learning attitudes to reward and punishment. So punishment means you will have negative. Then learning attitude along through modeling. Modeling means observing. So इसमें trial and error. We cannot do trial and error. Say for example, generally we want to avoid police. Why? We want to avoid like rowdy elements. कोई पी के आ रहा है ऐसा ऐसा. So you want to avoid him. Some street dogs you want to avoid. Why? By observing. So that dog has already bitten. So we shouldn't be. So we shouldn't go. Right? ऐसा है ना? So it's that. So learning by observing others. So ऐसा किए तो क्या हो सकता है? There is no need for you to do trial and error. आपका फ्रेंड ऐसा ही किया था, उसको क्या मिला? That is. So that is the reason you are not doing some things. Otherwise you would have done. We learn attitude through norms of the group or culture. So what are norms? So norms are unwritten rules of society. So ऐसे एक एक सेंटेंस आपको रहना है. What are norms? Norms are unwritten rules of the society. So based on that also we learn. Then learning through exposure to information, right? So इसमें शॉर्ट नोट किए तो कितना आता है, 5-6 लाइन्स आता है, उतना ही. तो इतना ही लिखना है आप, because all other stories you can easily write, right? So I have given detailed explanation also. This is not in your syllabus, but in fact, this is the one most useful for answering the questions. So this I have already explained. You can go through these things. These are pretty simple. Whether attitude will change. So factors that influence attitude. So what are the factors that influence attitude change? Pehle, like you have to distinguish. First one is formation. Here already form हो गया है. So you have to change. क्या करते हैं? How? Think. Okay. So how to change the attitude? Very good. Those are the two important things. So generally it will happen. So you have to write. In fact, that is not there in the slide. You should be writing those things. So in fact, factors which change or influence both in both the things you can write. Whether attitudes will change, and if so, to what extent? This is one of the biggest question which is haunting all the psychologists. This is a question that puzzles many psychologists. However, most of the psychologists agree upon the following major factors that influence attitude change. So इसमें कौन कौन सा है? Characteristics of the existing attitude. So attitude change. Keep one thing in mind. Attitude change depends upon the characteristics of the existing attitude. What are the characteristics of existing attitude? Like 4 things we studied: valence, extremeness, simplicity, says. So let me, like, I will explain those things, like, which will be easy to change also. Okay. Source, credibility, and attractiveness. So here it is not with respect to you, it is about the source. Say for example, first ranker says that you read 10 hours per day, you will get first rank. Will you believe? The chances are high. The same, like say for example, your own classmate says the same thing. Will you believe? Why? No credibility. Because you feel that you have got more credibility than him. Second, with respect to attractiveness. इसको हम explain करने का जरूरत नहीं है. So why in almost all the advertisements, why glamorous people will be there? So they are attractive, whatever they say, you believe. So how to change the attitude? Very important. You have to use all these things. Okay. Next, message characteristics. Information should be just enough, neither too much nor too little. It generally happens whenever we go to any institutions to search which institution to join, or even if you want to buy anything, if the seller says all the things, you may not be buying those things. जितना बोलना है उतना बोल के like रह देना है. So here you should not provide too much information, just enough information देना है. Then rational and emotional appeal. So can you give example for rational and emotional appeal? Okay, I'll give you one example which is given in most of the cases. Pressure cookers. You are aware of cooker, pressure cookers. So here, rational thing. So here, if you boil anything in cooker, it will consume very less fuel. It will save fuel. And dal, all these things will boil easily, and also everything. So rational, right? Emotional. So when you boil the things in cooker, क्या होता है? The nutrients will be there itself. If you really care for your husband, children, then you should be taking this cooker because all the nutrients will be there itself. That is emotional. So you can message characteristic in that rational and also emotional appeal. Target characteristics, pursuability, strong prejudice, self-esteem, and intelligence. So with respect to changing the attitude, say for example, there is a person like who has lot of self-esteem and also highly intelligent. So उनको impress करना easy है, difficult. Okay. Mode of spread of message. So what are the modes of spreading the message? In person, face to face, or through audio visual meets, those things. So here it's very easy to remember. So you can divide these things into the characteristic of a message, source, and also target. ऐसा बोले, ऐसा किए तो आपको like you will be in a very easy to remember. So with respect to characteristics, so valence, extremeness, and simplicity. Now attitude which is easy to change, इसमें among these things which are easy to change. So you are aware of this valence, extremeness, and simplicity. Now positive attitude रहे तो easy हो सकता है, या negative, less extreme, simple attitude, peripheral attitude, which are easy to change among these. Hmm? Peripheral. Yes. So here in fact all are easy to change. Negative attitude रहे तो is it possible to change easily? So extreme रहे तो होता है नहीं. Simple attitude and also peripheral, central attitude को change करना उतना easy नहीं है, right? In addition to the characteristics of the existing attitude, one must also consider the direction. So direction बोले तो here once again congruent, positive becoming more positive, easy, and incongruent in this the other direction, opposite. The same things, you can go through these things. Same examples. Okay, this is very important. And about this, the information provided in most of the books is very, very little, and they have not made the things explicit. Now, what is attitude made up of? ABC. So, does ABC affect attitude? Yes, that is one point which you have to keep in mind. The other way also, attitude affects ABC also. This is the crux. So, isme they have given just thought and behavior. You can add one more, cognition also. So ABC affect attitude and attitude affect ABC. So how? So we'll take one by one. Affective responses, how they are related to attitude. Feelings affect attitude. How? Your feelings affect the attitude. Can you think of an example? आपको क्या फीलिंग आता है? सो फीलिंग आना है, वो फीलिंग अफेक्ट करना है, नॉट बेगर. So cockroaches. So many are scared of cockroaches if they are not science background. Science background वाले को उतना scares like they won't feel very scared. Why? Experiment के लिए वो cockroach पकड़ पकड़ के थक चुके रहते हैं. Like in fact we are having in agriculture college, entomology was a subject. All boys behind pits for catching cockroaches for girls. So वो होता है. And also we used to have insect collection. So insect collect karna and we have to produce. So here cockroaches, Are they killing you? But what do you have? What is your feeling about cockroaches? Like something disgusting. So attitude क्या होता है? Negative होता है, right? So similarly here, one is affective reactions that arose. So feelings affect attitude due to the affective reactions that are aroused in you. First one. And feelings affect attitude due to the pairing of affirmative information. So affirmative information means your feelings, the information loaded with feelings. So these are the two ways in which feelings affect attitude. Let us discuss one by one. Affective reactions that are aroused in an individual after exposure to an attitudinal object. Example, spider makes many feel scared. So this I have taken from a very famous Western book. They have made spider, so I have kept spider itself. In India, I think people are not afraid of spiders. Okay. These negative affective responses are likely to produce negative attitude towards spider. ये समझ में आया? So here affective reactions aroused are not that pleasant. So attitude towards them also, right? Say for example, if you see a parrot, so आपको like what attitude you have about parrots? Positive. Why? They arouse some positive things in you, right? Next is a very important one. Pairing of affective means feeling arousing information with an attitude on the object can produce positive or negative attitude. In that classical or Pavlovian conditioning paradigm, subliminal pairing and mere exposure. So let us take one by one. This is a classical one. You already know this, but I'll try to explain in a better way. So here, food is unconditional stimuli. Like if you think of something like paneer or biryani or kebab, so you'll have like a good feeling. So you'll have unconditional stimuli. So here, what was the experiment was, before the food was given, a bell was rung. So bell maro, food do, right? So ring the bell, give the food. Now here bell is conditional stimuli, but that dog is getting food only after the bell rings, right? The same feeling, the same thing, what you are having for food, it became equated to bell. Got it? So here bell is conditional stimuli. Now what happens? Pairing food and bell. So now food and bell becomes equal. So here attitude on food is equal to attitude on bell. Can you think of applying this? How? Yes, good. The same thing with respect to advertisement, they use most. So with respect to perfumes, you might have seen. So attraction for opposite sex is natural. So you might have seen the advertisement fog. क्या चल रहा है? Fog चल रहा है. There will be one person with 6 feet, six pack, everything. No woman around. And there comes a very thin person with fog, that perfume. So all girls behind him. Have you seen that or not? So उसमें क्या कर रहे हैं? So to explain this concept, I am giving not joke. So what is that they are doing? क्या क्या pair कर रहे हैं? What they are pairing? Conditioning. So here attraction for opposite sex is natural. So in that they are adding same like bell add कर रहे हैं ना, ऐसे perfume add कर रहे हैं, right? So attraction for opposite sex and perfume. So they are pairing this. So you have the tendency, and many people buy, and it has been proved also. If you say no, you will be the exception. Next, Doctors, say for example, with respect to toothpaste. So in toothpaste also you have got two kinds of toothpaste. One working 24/7. So 24/7 advertisement के लिए कौन आता है? 24/7 protection. Doctor means they are not doctors, but they come in white coat and they say, देखिए एक बार ब्रश किए तो like you can sleep 24 hours, nothing will happen. And the other one, the glittering teeth, उसके लिए कौन आता है? डॉक्टर आता है. So actors. So since they are glamorous, they feel that हमारा like teeth also will become like shining like that. So they are pairing here. So this is the one. So the concept is very deep. So इसको आप apply करना है जिंदगी में. You can change the attitude of the people. Okay. So subliminal printing. So ये क्या है? Each picture was preceded by an affect arousing image that was presented at subliminal level. So each picture was preceded means come before, means before you show something you have been showing something else at the subliminal level, that is at the very brief exposure below the threshold necessary for conscious decoding. So subliminal means like very brief period. So इसमें like what they did is they showed like the pictures were presented with a series, like the participants were presented with a series of pictures of an unfamiliar person. So what is the experiment? Participants were presented with a series of pictures of unfamiliar person. ऐसा कि आप जिंदगी में ऐसे लोगों को देखा ही नहीं. Each picture was preceded by an affect arousing image. तो उन लोगों को आप कभी नहीं देखे, but it was like फर्स्ट ग्रुप को क्या किया? They showed bucket full of snakes. एक बकेट में स्नेक्स को like imagine how it will be. So वो सीन दिखा के वो फोटो. Are you getting me? For others, like pair of kittens or a couple getting married. So couple getting married, afterwards you saw, you have shown that picture. So इसमें in most of the cases जिनको ये दिखाया गया था वो लोग like they had negative evaluation on those people. Clear? So the other way around here. Why some ads are shown more frequently? अब देखते हैं ना, वही ad repeatedly दिखाते हैं. Why? Yes, 100%. How? Like the question is why they are not changing the ad? Life boy ad same दिखाना है क्या? They can make some 10 ads. They can show different ads. Inculcate perspective. So here it is proved that like if something is exposed more number of times, you start liking that. So like especially in colleges, universities. So generally in some of the cases at least, so there will be marriages in the class itself. क्यों? देख देख के पसंद करना लग जाते हैं. So mere exposure. Now I am not saying, these people are saying. So here say that different types of unfamiliar stimuli, say for example Chinese characters, were presented to the participant on certain number of times. The stimuli that has been presented many times were liked more. So Chinese characters, should I write Chinese characters? I know some Chinese. You know Korean. So कुछ भी लिखो उसके बाद बोलो ये चाइनीस है, हो जाता है. So here like they will be like this. So one Chinese character was shown more number of times. So they had liking for that. Are you getting me? Right? So all these tactics you can use. These are very powerful and tested. Okay. So major exposure effect, increase in liking of an object has a result of being repeatedly exposed to it. That is the reason you will have frequent ads. So you will start liking them. with respect to behavior and attitude, how are they related? Are you able to relate? Behavior and attitude. So especially the students who are preparing for 25, please take these classes very seriously and internalize once forever. आपका optional वो ये इसका सामने कुछ नहीं है, because it carries the weightage of 1000 marks. But for those who are appearing for 2024, it's high time for you. All these things can be revised afterwards because you will be having time, 3 months. But you should be revising at least 15 minutes. Okay. So behavior here, weak and ambiguous attitude. So what are ambiguous attitude? Both positive and negative रहते हैं, उसको ambiguous बोलते हैं. So here you have got one what is known as Ben's self-perception theory. Second is with respect to strong attitude. This weak and ambiguous, this is strong. And in other cases, behaviors influence attitude in a more direct way. So we'll take one by one. A Ben's self-perception theory A क्या बोलता है? Like what he says is, with respect to weak and unambiguous things, we won't be having attitude ready, in fact. So he says that individuals often do not know their own attitude with respect to weak and ambiguous. So this is a very important one. So with respect to weak and ambiguous things, individuals often do not know their own attitudes. They have to engage in attributional reasoning to infer their attitudes from their own behaviors. Say, for example, what is your attitude towards nuclear energy? So if I ask question like that, you have to think, "Arey, kya hai mera attitude?" Clear? So here it simply says that with respect to weak and ambiguous things, your attitudes are not like clear. To infer those things, you have to reason out based on your behavior. And with respect to strong attitudes, here people can change their attitude in order to be consistent with the behavior that they have performed. So I repeat, so very famous line, people can change their attitude in order to be consistent with behaviors that they have performed. So here Festinger, he did an experiment. In that experiment, what was the experiment? So in that place, you take my itself. So there was my class. Think that it was very boring. There was nothing interesting in that. उसमें like एक पैसे का भी कुछ नहीं है ऐसा समझिए. So what I did is, not me, some other person. So what they did is, they give you all like 1000 rupees before you go out. And you are asked to say, tell all the people whomsoever you come across, saying that the class was excellent. इससे अच्छा राजेंद्र नगर में कोई नहीं है, ऐसा बोलो. So that was the experiment, right? The class was not good, but you are given money to say that the class was good. So afterwards, after some time, the same people were called back, and it was found that they were in fact liking the class. Why? To be inconsistent with their behaviors. Here. So if you are like doing certain behavior, so like say for example, anything for that matter, आपका behavior कुछ है, to substantiate or in line with that, your attitude also changes, right? So here people can change their attitudes in order to be consistent with the behaviors that they have performed. Say for example, you may be walking from your room to here. That is your behavior. So your attitude also may change. Okay. So behaviors influence attitude in a more direct way. So this is very important because it influences the attitude in a very direct way. Very important. Your behaviors changes the attitude. Very important. Headphone manufacturer. There was a headphone manufacturer was interested in determining how headphone performed. So headphone you are aware of. So he was interested in determining how headphones performed. So he asked to move the head in either of the way. One is, so you have been put headphones. So he want to know how the headphone works. So one group, one side, they were asked to do like up and down motion, ऐसा करके music सुनो. This side, ऐसा, no, like that. So it was found that those people who are saying like this, they gave very negative opinion about the content which was coming, and also the headset. Those who are saying like this, they said that the headphone was very good. You got me? So ऐसा भी आपको पढ़ने में ये होना है. Like whenever you are going to read, like the most important thing or the thing which you wish, ऐसा करके आप जाना है. You got me? Like when you are going to read, and one important line, you tell me the number of hours you are sitting on the chair. I'll tell you how much you are reading. So लेट के सो के ऐसा मत पढ़ो. Just sit on the chair. Do all nonsense on the chair itself. Sitting is the most important thing which you have to do. Why? You are entering into bureaucracy. Bureaucracy, the very meaning of bureaucracy is getting the things done across the table. आप वो सिटिंग कैपेसिटी नहीं है तो यू लाइक इट विल बी वेरी डिफिकल्ट फॉर यू टू बी इन ब्यूरोक्रेसी. लाइक हैज आई मेड दिस पॉइंट प्रीवियसली आल्सो. फोन आने का बाद एवरीथिंग इज बीन डन इन अ फोन इटसेल्फ. सो बैठ के फोन क्या देखना है, लाइक लेट के देखते हैं. दैट शुड नॉट बी द वन, बिकॉज सिटिंग ऑन द चेयर बिकम्स ए पनिशमेंट फॉर यू. सोना है तो जाके सो, बट सो के लाइक टीवी देखना, मोबाइल देखना, ऐसा मत करो, क्योंकि योर बॉडी बिकम्स लाइक दैट. इज द पॉइंट क्लियर? Okay. So how it was? So those people who are saying like positive behavior, they said that the things was good. So similarly, with respect to another, while viewing a variety of unfamiliar Chinese characters, participants were asked to engage in either arm flexing and arm extension. So इसमें ऐसा है, like हमारा शाहरुख खान की तरफ one, and another like go away. So those who are saying like this, they said that this unfamiliar Chinese picture characters was very good. So इसमें आपका बिहेवियर इंपॉर्टेंट है. अरे कौन पढ़ता है ऐसा ऐसा गए तो दैट विल बी बोरिंग. ऐसा समझ के जाओ, दैट इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग, थिंग्स लाइक दैट. तो आपको ऐसा ही लगेगा. क्लियर? So thought with respect to attitude, this they have not given, but it is one of the component you should be knowing. So conscious considerations. So thought बोले तो cognitive, opinion, all these things. Say for example, bike. So naya bike, naya car, or anything. So if you are going to purchase that, what is the one thing which you apply? Your knowledge. उसका mileage क्या है? Like उसका sound क्या है? Wheelie कर सकते हैं क्या उसमें? Trips जा सकते हैं क्या? So all these things comes into play, right? Do you believe? Do you agree with this one? Conscious considerations, right? Say for example, sweater. This is a cold time. So you will test and afterwards you take. So if these things are there, you will have positive attitude and you will buy. So stereotypes. Here we say that certain kinds of people are aggressive. So ऐसा बोला जाता है. People to the south of India are good, polite, not that aggressive. In fact, long before there was a trend also. Many thought that हमारा बेटी को साउथ में भेजना है, पढ़ के आएगी ऐसा. They had that trend. I don't know now. Okay. So beliefs. It is dependent on the belief also. Okay. Okay. When do attitude predict behavior?  . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . So I will give the example. You have got a very positive attitude towards God. Does that predict how many times you will be going to temple? Not exactly. You have got positive attitude towards blood donation. How many of you are donating regularly every 3 months? Organ donation. So in fact, I found an interesting case also with respect to organ donation. One of my students told, sir, I was told by my parents that God has given the organs to you. If you are donating, in next janma, you won't get those things because you have insulted God saying that you take away your organs. So next, क्या क्या आप donate किए वो नहीं रहेंगे आपको. So don't think like that. That was a joke. So when do attitude predict your behavior? So like say here, we wear different types of clothes in Delhi. The same type of clothes, if there is no cold, right? Will we wear in our hometown? ऐसे है ना, like बहुत से बदमाश लोग रहते हैं, but around the home they are the nicest person. Means कुछ नहीं करते वो बच्चा ऐसा जाता है ऐसा आता है, something like that. So that determines your behavior also. See your attitude and behavior. So your attitude will be reflected in the behavior if nobody is seeing. Think you have got a flat. ऐसा सोचो कि कोई 1 साल के लिए नहीं आएगा. रोज उठ के झाड़ू मारते हैं क्या आप? So will you keep all your belongings in the same place, all these things? We can do at the end. Last 12th month में हम देख सकते हैं. Why you do like that? Our dressing patterns change. College में बच्चे कैसे like how they wear pant फटा हुआ, something like that. The same रहते हैं क्या? नहीं. And another thing is you shouldn't be judged. आप ऐसे कपड़े पहने, like if some all people started judging, you may not show those things. So here, when do attitudes predict your behavior? So यार आपका attitude different रहता है, behavior also may be different, but there are high chances of you predicting your behavior based on your attitude when you have got following things. Okay, when there is correspondence between attitudinal and behavioral measures. So this is one difficult one. I'll get back to that. So attitude depends upon the domain of the behavior. So domain क्या हुआ? Organ donation, blood donation. Say for example, I have got positive attitude towards Modi. मैं मोदी को वोट डालूंगा या नहीं? So domain. So domain also determines, right? Then attitude is strong and occupies central place in the attitudinal system. So if it is strong and occupies central position, then that predicts the behavior. There is very little or no external pressure for the person to behave in a particular way. I repeat, there is very little or no external pressure for the person to behave in a particular way. So say for example, like if I wear something like very posh, and if all say that this is not good, हमारा tradition ऐसे कर रहे हो, आप ऐसे कर रहे हो, so then you may not be wearing that dress. But if nobody is saying, and if they are saying, wow, what a beautiful dress, you'll start wearing that. The person's behavior is not being watched or evaluated by others. Then attitude predicts the behavior. When the person thinks that the behavior would have a positive consequence and therefore intends to engage in that behavior. So in all these circumstances, attitude predicts behavior. However, people's behavior and their attitude may differ when the above factors are not available. Right? So very simple, common sense. But the thing is, like you have to note down the points in a sequence by segregating the things. So coming to the first one, when there is a correspondence between attitudinal and behavioral measures. So here, what are the two things which are there? measuring attitude and also measuring behavior. There was a social scientist by name La Perry, very famous one. So La Perry, he was a American. So that was at the time of Second World War, peak, or between First World War and Second World War, where the people of America had negative opinion towards Chinese. So what this La Perry did is he took a Chinese couple with him, and he went to he went around the country to most of the restaurants. In all the restaurants, he was given admission along with the Chinese couple. Right? Is this clear? So he, along with the Chinese couple, went, but the general sentiment was they opposed Chinese at that point of time, like that. But after some time, when he sent us a questionnaire saying that, will you accept Chinese guests in your hotel? Will you give accommodation to Chinese guests in your hotel? 99% of the people who gave accommodation, they said that no, we won't be giving. Is this clear to you, what I'm saying? So when he went, all gave accommodation. But when he sent the letter, questionnaire, they said that no. So here, there was no correspondence between attitudinal measure and behavioral measures. So the questionnaire would have been, will you give accommodation to a well-dressed Chinese couple accompanied by with an American? That should have been the question. Not just asking, will you allow Chinese people? They will say no. Is it clear? So here, there should be correspondence between measuring attitude and the behaviors. The behavior was the hotel people gave accommodation. You are measuring the attitude through questionnaire. The question is itself wrong, not that appropriate. There is no correspondence, right? So are these things clear to you? Okay, still we have got some time. Okay, let's see. Social influence and persuasion. So we'll just start the things, and because this is a little bigger one, if I start, it will take time. So I was told that I should be winding up by 7. And I can see you are also eagerly waiting for that. Okay. So social influence, society influencing. So just society influencing what? So ये एटीट्यूड चैप्टर में है, डेफिनेटली एटीट्यूड रहेगा, राइट? So persuasion. So what is that about? Attitudinal change. So here by society, and with respect to persuasion, it is a very active one, intended one. So with respect to the definitions, these are the very well-named definitions. Process whereby our attitudes are influenced by the real or imagined presence of others. So here, imagined also is very important. Say for example, like we sing many songs. So our behavior, everything will be in a normal way. The time you think that this will be recorded and put on YouTube, अब ऐसे ही रहता है क्या? Like say for example, anything. So here, not only real, even imagined presence. So it's very simple. And also in NCERT, they have added one more, that is behavior also. So if you write only attitude, it's fine. If you had behavior also, it's fine. So the process whereby our attitudes and behaviors are influenced by real and imagined presence of other people, it impacts our emotions, opinions, and behaviors. So this is social influence. Okay. If you have got any doubt, please let me know. And I have given the questions also. The questions are very difficult, but what I expect you is try to solve on your own. So you will come to know the meaning. Say, for example, even me, socio-economic, the one techno-economic, I was not aware. Those things, now I know. Next I can apply. Similarly for you, वो क्वेश्चन में ऐसा है, एक मेथड है, एक पैटर्न है, एक वोकैबुलरी है. The same vocabulary will be followed. Same way of asking the questions will be followed. Like घुमा फिरा के वही पूछते हैं, इसलिए अब वो क्वेश्चन को मास्टर करना है. So I have given the questions and I have given the homework also. Okay, study आप just analyze कीजिए. We'll discuss that. Right? Okay. If you have got any doubt, please let me know. Okay. Okay. If you don't have any doubts, we'll wind up the session here. Have a great day. Enjoy your preparation. Okay. So online people, if you have got any doubt, please let me know. What is the meaning of summary evaluation? So summary evaluation here, as you are aware, A, B, C components are there. So evaluation which is based on all your affect, behavior, and cognition component will be summary evaluations. So attitudes are summary evaluations of ABC components associated with an object. Then any other question? Attitude helps in decision making by being judgmental. Is being judgmental ethical? So here you cannot say judgmental. Evaluation will be the most appropriate one. So what is the most important thing in attitude? Evaluating an object. So you evaluate an object. So it helps in decision making. It saves your energy. That is the one. Any other question? Please explain subliminal pairing. So subliminal means very short time, short period. Say for example, with respect to your CSAT paper also. So in case studies, like in most of the cases, ethics में आपको time shortage क्यों रहता है? Why you have got time shortage in ethics paper? It is intentionally made that you will have time shortage. Why? Because they want to know what is there in you already. आपको ये कैलकुलेशन वो सब करके लिखना नहीं है. What is there in your head should come. So subliminal pairing means exposure to a very brief period. That is the one. Okay. If you have, okay. Any other question? Okay. If you have got any question, please write down. Every day, like after the session, I'll be spending some 10 to 15 hours to inquire into, to answer to the questions with respect to what you pose, especially the online people. Okay, thank you. By this